Hey tuners, let's take a quick behind the scenes look at how we created the Age Matters group cosplay. Now, I love this because we had so many great cosplayers take part in this, and they created their own looks in their own houses all around the world and sent them in so that we could create one unified image of everyone inside of the Age Matters cast. Now, our people did a great job because we're all still on the lockdown. We're in quarantine and we cannot leave to go get things. So literally everything you see created here was sourced from our own closets. No shopping was involved. We couldn't be going out to make things. So really it comes down to being able to use what we have available to us to create magic. And all of our cosplayers rocked out at this. Now, everyone took their photos in their own homes at a straight on angle, well lit, not pixelated, and then they sent them in to us. And most people sent in several different poses, so at that point I started to go through them. I picked the one that represented the character best, that would also fit inside of the image best, and because this is a rather large cast, I knew that I was going to have to kind of create an interesting world where we have different levels of people on screen, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. So I had to see what was gonna work with the other characters as well when I was picking out which images to use. Once I had selected those images, I dragged them into a Photoshop document one at a time, and then I cut out our characters. So I started with our leads. I had Daniel and I had our Rose, and I cut them out and I made sure that we didn't have any stray little lines anywhere, made sure that we didn't have any backgrounds that were still there, made sure that there were nice smooth lines and it wasn't kind of pixelated or on the outside, because sometimes that happens when you're lassoing things and you're creating your layer masks there, so you have to refine everything. And then I got all the characters in and I just had an arrangement of characters on my screen. At that point I had to resize things and then start building my background and my foreground. So I typically ask my cosplayers to shoot from the top of legs up so that I have a little bit to work with, but because we had such a large cast on this one, we actually had to make them fairly small on our screen and in our document. And so we didn't necessarily have quite enough of everybody to cover it without it seeming like a huge headspace of blankness above where our characters were. So I actually had to do a little fancy creative Photoshop work on this one. So I actually started by creating our foreground. So if you look at the picture, we've got a desk, we've got a bookshelf, and that kind of takes up the bottom part of our scene. That allowed me to then lift our characters a little bit higher so that they took up more of the center of the image and there was less of that blank headspace up at the top. Now, I did arrange our characters in a way so that they were kind of tiered and kind of staggered in the image. So Rose and Daniel are up front. They're right up next to that desk. They're a little bit bigger than everybody else, and everybody else is either a little bit behind them and slightly smaller, or in that back row and a little bit smaller than that. And so we created it so that the perspective actually measures up to what we see in real life. If you notice, the background is kind of blurry. The people in the back are a little bit blurrier because, and as we look with our human eyes or with our cameras, it captures one thing in focus, and anything in front of it and anything behind it is blurred. So you'll notice our desk is a little bit out of focus. Our bookcase is a little bit out of focus because that is in our foreground and that's not the focus of our image. Daniel and Rose are. So we want to make sure that that is realistic. So I created my foreground first. It looks like those desks are really in front of them, but it also blocks the empty space on the bottom where they actually did not have legs. And so then I arranged my characters where I wanted them to be. So I actually had to position them a little bit differently. I had to move them around until everybody fit just perfectly, and I had to create those rows within our characters so that it looked like a realistic image. Then I had to work on the background, and I'm going to tell you the truth, I actually started out with an entirely different background. I was going for something a little bit different, and I started building things in the background. So there were bookcases and shelves and desks and computers, and there was a whole different background to this, but I wasn't loving how it looked, and I wasn't really finding the windows and the walls and the things that I wanted to put behind that layer. So I had to keep looking. I had to keep sourcing different office scenes, and I finally created pieces that I could put together to create a really nice scene, and I actually removed all that work I had done for those desks and those computers and those bookshelves in the background because it just didn't fit with what I was doing now. Sometimes we have to change our plans, and sometimes it works out even better. So we created this background, we altered it a little bit, we played with some of the lighting, and then we did our color toning. So we made sure that everybody was the same color depth, the lighting was good, we made sure that everybody looked like they were in the same image, because reality is that people are taking their photos in different lighting at different angles and different things, and so we have to make it look like one cohesive unit. So I did some color correction, some color toning, we made sure we zhuzhed up some different hair colors, and we made things look really, really good so that it actually took on life in the form of the Age Matters cast. Now at that point we did some overall general toning, we did some coloring, we did some lighting effects, and then we put the logo on and we were ready to go. Couple of tweaks and I was able to then take it to our cosplay group and show them last night what it looked like before you guys saw it today. So I'm really excited for this one. This turned out so dang good, and I love how we brought this to life in this beautiful office setting, and our cosplayers just killed the characters that they were creating. I could not be more pleased, and the cosplay group could not be more pleased as well. So get down in my comments and let me know, do you absolutely love this cosplay, and which one do you hope that our group cosplay team will create next? We've got a couple on our list, but we want to hear from you guys too. So get down in my comments below this video and let me know that you are absolutely loving on this one, and let me know what story should we be looking at next for our upcoming group cosplays. Hit that subscribe and notification bell. We're showing you more behind the scenes of group cosplays, and everything we're doing here at Toon Ladies is we're keeping you up to date on the Toon world and giving you a great place to have a community built around the stories that you are absolutely loving on right now. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you all being here. I will see you again in the next video. Until then, have a great day and stay inspired. Every 6 p.m. we're dropping brand new videos for you guys.